Fellas, welcome back for a new year. How we feeling?
2026.
We're here.
Excited about it.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're ready to roll.
Okay, so we're going into an NFL playoff preview based solely on vibes, which makes me want to ask you, how are the vibes going into 2026 for you?
I feel pretty good. Yeah.
You look good.
I don't, do I?
Yeah.
I think that's the main question. I'm still, the holidays have not been kind to me, but I'm excited about this year. There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon.
For sure. What about you, Jason?
I'm enjoying the vibes. We ended last year on a high note, trying to continue that into 2026. That's the main goal.
That's right. All right, well, we're ready to go. Vibes are feeling good on this show. Let's tap in.
Let's do it.
I feel like an asshole. I didn't ask Zena how she was doing with her new year.
Our expertise is on off-the-field stories and how those impact on the field performance. And so we came up with a version of analyzing what's happening on the field based on players' vibes, team vibes, coaches' vibes.
Robert, Jason, today is all about football. We're going to start with the college game. The Athletic's Chris Vannini is here to help us understand and make sense of the new world of NIL and what that's meant for the once dominant SEC. Then we're going to flip it over to Tom Brady and the terrible NFL team that he co-owns, the Las Vegas Raiders, and what's going to have to happen in Sin City to turn this team around. And then for our main story, NFL playoffs are here. I know you excited.
I am.
We're going to try and predict what the teams are going to do, but we're not going to use X's and O's. You can relax.
I'll be all right.
Be relaxed, though, because we're going to be talking about vibes only. We've got Madeline Hill and Charlotte Wilder from the Athletic Sports Gossip Show that's going to join us. You guys ready for that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Tap in. Once upon a time, some things were certain. Death, taxes, and the Southeastern Conference dominating college football. Okay? Well, as we've seen this year, those days are long gone, at least the SEC part. And we've got Chris Vannini, national college football writer for The Athletic, here to help us understand how big money is changing the college landscape as we once knew it. Chris, welcome.
Good to be here, guys. 3 straight years, no SEC team in the national championship game. That hasn't happened since 2002.
Wild.
That's been a 3-year run, but to me, the moment where this all kind of clicked was watching the Rose Bowl and watching what Indiana did to Alabama. And intellectually, I understand that Indiana was an incredibly good football team this year, but watching them blow out a team in those Alabama uniforms and out everything them, out coach them, out physical them, out scheme them. It was one of those moments where it felt like we were watching something change. For somebody that's in it all the time, did it feel similar to you that it felt like we were watching a transition happen within the sport?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last 3 years of the college football playoff, 12 spots in the semifinals, 11 different teams have reached it. This comes after the period where Alabama was always there, Georgia was always there, Ohio State was always there. And now you have Indiana, the losingest team in the history of college football until this year, dominates Alabama the way Alabama used to dominate everybody for 15 years under Nick Saban. It really highlighted how much the sport has changed, how the distribution of talent has changed, and how it's a new world of college football where anybody can do this now, and that's exciting.
As a person that's more peripheral to college football, that kind of taps in when there are big games on, I'm like, this is great. It's getting a little bit more parity. Now, NIL is legal, and you can find out how to get more people on your team that would have probably been on 3rd and 4th rosters.
Right. What Nick Saban was so good at, he was such a good recruiter, he could get talent into Alabama, and that talent had to stay there.
Right.
You had guys who would come in, they were 5-star recruits.
Right.
They'd wait 2-3 years before it was their time to play. Now with the transfer portal open, anybody can transfer at any time. Those guys don't want to sit there anymore. They want to go somewhere else where they can play, and they can go somewhere else where that team will be willing to legally pay them to play. And that opens up more possibilities for teams getting upset.
This is the first 4 years of this thing. So if you're a team who hasn't had, traditional luck, if you've got a donor base and if you've got an understanding of the transfer portals, it's a great time for schools like Indiana and other schools who might have been also-rans to kind of jump in there while the market is still establishing itself.
So Ed Orgeron won the national championship with LSU in 2019 with Joe Burrow. He had a quote recently where he said, used to always have to go in the back door with the money to players. You weren't allowed to pay players, but everybody knew certain places
figure it
paying
out.
players. And now you go through the front door with that. And when you can go through the front door, a lot of these places, like Indiana, they've got money now. Mark Cuban, a billionaire, has donated to Indiana athletics the last couple of years. He hadn't done that before. And you have these Big Ten schools with huge alumni bases, lots of millionaires and billionaires. They are now paying up to get players. And you have these players who, they don't have to go pro to make money now. In many cases, they're making more in college than they would in the pros because they're more valuable here.
What do you think this is going to do to the South and some of these football hotbeds like Florida and Texas and Louisiana?
I think everybody will respond calmly and measured.
Right.
We got to see what the Paul Feinbaum show is going to be like. It must be going nuts.
What are they going to talk about?
The SEC had won 13 national championships in 17 years, from 06 to 2022. And when they weren't winning it, they were still playing for it. That's not happening anymore. When you talk to coaches like in the Big Ten, they'll tell you, yeah, we can get players that we couldn't get before because we're willing to pay for players the way that the SEC was doing it when you couldn't exactly do that. And so everybody's got a chance now.
Just in terms of the overall interest and how many people across the country are invested in the sport, this feels like a good thing. Do you think that's right?
Yes, they expanded the playoff because we were only getting the same handful of teams every year. Miami's playing for the national championship. They were the last team in the field. Yeah. The last at-large team flipped over Notre Dame at the last second. Now they're going to the national championship. Everybody's got a chance now, and that's good.
As a person that lives in the Bay, I know some Cal folks that are feeling away about the fact that Fernando Mendoza is now going to play for Indiana and probably will wear Indiana on his shoulder as he enters the NFL and gets all this notoriety. There's also this aspect of it feels like there's no limit to the amount of times you could transfer. What are the guardrails in place to put something in order so that, one, the money is limited, but also the transfer portal doesn't just seem like it's a heyday every single year?
Well, we mentioned the downside to all this. That is it. It's difficult for fans who maybe are fans of a team that don't have the most money. You have a good player, you have a good coach, you realize we're probably going to lose him next year. That's more difficult to stay invested in your team. There's no limits on the transfer portal because the courts won't let them do that.
I think about Mendoza and I'm like, does the University of California, Berkeley get to claim that Heisman?
So I talk to coaches about this and they get very worried because they say, hey, when I was at school for 4 years and when I graduated, my coach helped me get a job, or I had connections with the Alumni Association to do things. You got guys transferring 3-4 years. Who's their alma mater? Who are they going to go back to? Are they going to come back?
Where's your allegiance?
Exactly.
Like, that's the problem.
And coaches, not everybody's going to go to the NFL. If you're not, what networking did you develop in college is going to help you in life beyond sports? That's a very big concern for a lot of people with the portal.
I don't know if what's better for the participants, which is obviously them getting their market value, and I still don't think this is their market value. I don't know if that's made the game or that made the sport better. And now that we're in it, it just seems like it's going to be minor league baseball, right? Or minor league soccer or minor league. No, we don't have minor league football, but this is the minor league.
And we talk to coaches. I mean, Robert, I'm sure you too. NFL coaches, players are not as developed when they're coming into the NFL now. Many cases, because they have moved around a lot and had different playbooks and been taught different things, we used to get attached to these kids. They were young, wide-eyed freshmen when they'd come in and they'd leave as a man and got to know them. And that you do lose that connection there. And that is something I think college sports wants to not to lose that. You want to have the connection with fans. But the NCAA has been so limited at what it can do now because the courts keep ruling against it in some of these big situations.
We know that the schools have their thoughts of how players should be paid or what the movement should be like for the players. We know that the government feels that way. We know that these states and the revenue that comes from these games and having the name, image, and likeness of major players is beneficial for them. Who should be involved in making these decisions, in y'all's opinions?
So Congress is looking into this. Now a lot of things are going on politically and it's an election year. We don't know if they're going to get to it or not. But the NCAA for years has been asking Congress, give us the power to make these rules like an NFL does, like an MLB does. The difference is those pro leagues negotiate collective bargaining agreements.
Right.
With
and
their
that's
players.
why I don't feel like the NCAA can fairly make those rules.
The more professional this thing becomes, the more professional it's going to have to become. You see these conferences now, and I remember a time when I knew everyone who was in the Big East. I knew everyone who was in the SEC. Now you've got teams, I didn't know that there are Pac-12 teams in the ACC.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're getting ready to have 3 or 4 mega conferences, and they're going to be, they're going to be attached to a platform, whether it be Amazon or Apple or Netflix. And we're going to get more of a professional look at these things. But until unionization happens, you're not really going to get down to the nitty gritty of what these negotiations should be.
I want to go back to one thing though. You legitimately think that the sport is worse off in terms of the product now because of all these things than it was when the place it was in like 5 or 7 years ago?
Without question. The product is not better.
When you say product, you mean like the quality of the football?
The quality of the
field.
football, yeah, it's not better. For instance, we talk about this Indiana team. Indiana beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game is probably one of the biggest upsets of this generation.
They hadn't beaten Ohio State in almost 40 years. They hadn't won the Big Ten in almost 60 years.
And guess what?
It's a good thing.
And guess what? It was just a blip on the radar.
You think it's worse?
Yes, I think part of this whole thing has happened because the NCAA for so long was resistant to any change whatsoever. Then suddenly all this change was forced upon.
Shock to the system.
Like they wouldn't even let the players have their video game monies
Right.
10, 15 years ago. And eventually people started noticing, hey, why are these coaches making $10 million? And the player, can't have a couple of free meals. And eventually the state of California passed the first NIL law. That eventually went to everywhere else. And all right, we're going to have to start doing some more things for the players. It's a lot of change all at once. And I understand why people may think it's too much. But part of that is because the NCAA was slow to adjust to it for so long that all this change got forced upon it.
Well, we'll see what happens with the college football playoffs when they culminate on January 19th. Until then, Chris Vannini, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Guys, there are disasters, and then there are the Las Vegas Raiders. After a 3-14 season, the Hall of Fame caliber coach, Pete Carroll, has been canned after a one-and-done year. And the thing I'll tell you is, if you are dating or engaged to a Raiders fan, you know they'll stay committed. I know that from firsthand experience. They have watched season after season a slow-motion death by 1,000 self-inflicted cuts. Who is to blame?
I mean, we talk about curses in sports, and usually it's who owns you and who's putting together things and the culture around that ownership group. Mark Davis, cool haircut, owner of the Raiders, but he's paying a bunch of different coaches right now. The instability with that organization, there's levels of bad, and that kind of instability ensures you being bad.
Having to fire a coach after one full season 2 years in a row, I can't remember that. Like that's a level of dysfunction we don't typically get. And Mark Davis is the principal owner of the Raiders. For years and years and years, his father, Al Davis, was a legendary figure within the NFL. And the Raiders are very good for a very long time. It started there, and then Mark Davis takes over, and I think he's a very well-meaning owner. He owns the Aces. They're incredibly successful.
Yeah.
The Raiders have done a lot of really positive things in the hiring practices they've had for a very long time, but there's really just been no vision. Every single time they've made some of these decisions, there's misalignment with it. They'll hire a coach who's doing a good job, but the front office is doing a terrible job. They'll hire the right person to run the front office, but the coach isn't the right choice. I think that there's a lot of good intentions here, but there's just never been a cohesive vision for every aspect of the organization, and that's how you land in the place that the Raiders have been in.
Well, ownership is supposed to enact that vision. So if they can't do it, who can?
Well, right now, the plan is for Tom Brady to do it. The Athletics' Mike Silver wrote a story about this week where Tom Brady is the greatest football player of all time. But now he has to learn how to be the person overseeing a vision for a franchise. And that just hasn't really happened yet. He has these dual jobs where he's doing Fox every single Sunday, but he's also in charge of making all the biggest decisions for the Raiders. And what might grow, which I think is the correct way to frame this, is that Tom Brady understands how to win in the NFL from a quarterback's perspective. Overseeing a team, it's a different skill set. And he has to learn how to be good at that. And I don't think there's necessarily any correlation. Understanding what winning looks like because you were tied to Bill Belichick day to day, that's not the same as figuring out who should be in charge of the football decisions. That's not the same as understanding what makes a good coach in 2025. And so I hope for the Raiders' sake that Tom can kind of tap into those conversations he's having every week in these production meetings and starts picking up on it right now.
Right.
What are the qualities you need in your decision makers in order to build a consistent winner?
Well, Tom Brady might not have the omniscience of like an entire organization, but he was a quarterback, and they're about to get a #1 draft pick. Quarterbacks usually fix things, right? Like that should be the issue. That should be the answer to some of this, right?
It should be, but it also depends on the year that you get the #1 pick. right? This isn't the Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May draft. So getting it right on the quarterback side depends on the raw materials you have, right? And I don't know if the raw materials at the top of this draft will be as foundational as other drafts might have been. So
Sometimes you can get surprised.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud wasn't supposed to be that guy. He had a really nice rookie season. Justin Herbert was the 5th overall pick. He's more talented than Mendoza. But we've had these moments where if you get a good enough quarterback and you pair it with the right coaching staff, I think of Jared Goff and Sean McVay in Los Angeles, like it's not that far off. And so the fact that they at least have a dice roll at that position, there's at least a glimmer of hope in that.
I mean, I could see Fernando Mendoza potentially being a new face, a new leadership. We've seen some of these interviews. He seems like he's poised to be a organizational changing type of.
Yeah, he's a guy that can set the structure and the baseline for you. I just don't know if I see the wow that I've seen out of previous draft classes. Tom Brady's gonna have his pick of the litter. It's just, are there runts?
For our main story today, we are so excited. I particularly am so excited to welcome The Athletic Show's Sports Gossip Show hosts, Madeline Hill and Charlotte Wilder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so
Oh, wait,
much
first
for
and
having
foremost, first applause that we've had. So that's
Wow.
I'm honored.
that's a big deal. That he has not applauded everyone.
I haven't approved of all the guests, so this is
a big deal.
He's bad at putting on a face.
And this is actually this is a perfect transition to why you guys are here. It's good vibes,
Yes.
right? It's good vibes. And you guys are here to give us an NFL playoff preview based on vibes only. You've done this before. Explain it to us. How does it work?
Yes, so on the Sports Gossip Show, our expertise is on off-the-field stories and how those impact on the field performance. And so we came up with a version of analyzing what's happening on the field based on players' vibes, team vibes, coaches' vibes, and body language too. I think you can kind of suss out if there's tension between players. You can see in their eyes if they're darting back and forth. You're like, okay, what are they saying without saying it?
Yes, and we always say on the show that, sports teams are companies. Athletes are employees. Who among us doesn't have work drama? You're annoyed with your boss.
Except for us.
Well, right, except for the Athletic in general.
Is there a formula or is it vibes based?
It's vibes-based.
It's a vibes based system.
And after working in sports for a long time, it felt I was cleansing something deep in my soul by being like, just feels like this. No stats, couldn't tell you. Just going for it.
I will say, when we've done vibes-based predictions, we've been pretty accurate.
Really?
If I do say so ourselves.
The first one we did, I think we had a 75% success rate for our predictions.
Yeah.
And then it was like 60. And I mean,
Well, we've never been below 500.
No.
Before we get to the playoffs, can you give us some takeaways of the best off-field storylines?
I'm biased as a Patriots fan, but the Patriots as a whole have been so fun this season in terms of, talk about vibes.
Oh, incredible vibes.
The vibes seemed really, really good.
Those 3 years you had to spend suffering, I'm so sorry.
I'm glad finally someone here has acknowledged my pain. But we really loved Drake May's wife, and Michael May, her series on TikTok that she called Bakemas. It was like an advent calendar of baking. And we said this on the show, but it was like the most healthy behavior in the comments I've seen, not just from Patriots fans, but sports fans.
Wow.
A bunch of men being like, thank you so much for everything you do. And I was like, well, that's a first.
Yeah.
It's the purest thing I've ever seen on the sports.
Yes.
Yes.
Vibes in New England were not crisp at the end of the Bill Belichick era. Yeah. They were about as rotten as they possibly could be. And that is one of the beats you all have owned over the last couple of years, the amount of just work and reporting you've done about Bill Belichick. But the juiciest stuff in that whole universe is not about Bill Belichick. It's about his girlfriend. What can you tell us about Jordon Hudson and how that has played for both of you?
Jordon Hudson is a fascinating character. I think initially when we first started talking about the story, we were curious about her involvement in Bill Belichick's universe, and more specifically in terms of his Instagram, because he famously is not an online man.
Instaface.
Exactly. And so, we saw him join Instagram and we were like, okay, what's going on here? And then we found her and we were like, okay, well, she's clearly doing this because he had accepted a collab post on Instagram. And Madeline was like, no way. You know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that.
It's advanced.
Right.
It's advanced. Yeah. And then when more reporting came out about her potential involvement in his business dealings, her being listed as a manager on his LLC, then I think there were more conversations around, okay, what is her involvement beyond just running his Instagram?
Right. And so she was competing in the Miss Maine pageant we went. This was before we had signed with the Athletic too. We paid our own money to go to.
The dedication is crazy.
All the president's men too.
Right.
Yes. And also she did call us. She did called me at 9:07, I believe, on a Saturday night.
It's the perfect time. There is no more perfect time for the content than 9:07 p.m. Because 2 a.m., it's like, all right, I understand how that happened. If she calls you at 6:05 p.m., 9:07 is the perfect time for the most unhinged decision-making possible.
On a Saturday night, too.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, most, we're in our 30s. We're not going out that late.
So then we proceeded to talk to her, trying to get her to come on the show. It ended with her calling me and yelling at me, and then sort of that's where we left that. But I think as the season went on with UNC, we started to be like, okay, this isn't really, this is Bill. This is on Bill Belichick. He's the head coach there. Like, this is, we saw a lot of sort of sexist reporting about her too, which, as, whatever our feelings about her, which are sort of many, I think we couldn't, it's like she's not, it's like you can't blame the woman. Bill is running the program.
Yeah.
We got the NFL playoffs here, okay? And we need to know, what do you expect from these contending teams based only on their vibes?
So we think the best vibe is Immaculate. Yeah. That is, again,
Immaculate vibes.
crisp vibes.
Absolutely.
It's just crisp. It's like evergreen. It's just smooth sailing.
Yep.
That's the cream of the crop.
Then we would say decent. If this is 500, here's decent, here's Immaculate. Then we've got not great and horrific.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I would say.
That makes sense.
That feels
Horrific vibes for a playoff team. I'm looking forward to hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, but in the NFL, it's not that rare. Like, I think there are plenty. I think the team that won the Super Bowl last year had horrific vibes. So that's the beautiful thing about football is that it could go either way.
All right, let's just jump right in. AFC, first team that gets a first round bye, number 1, Denver Broncos. Immaculate, decent, not great, horrific. Where we at?
I mean, I kind of feel Immaculate.
Yeah. I think Immaculate.
But do you not?
Well, the fan base is
I think Sean Payton is grumpy enough all the time that it might keep you from Immaculate. I say decent with the Broncos. That's where I would go with it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Let's go to number 7, Los Angeles Chargers versus they're going to be at the number 2 New England Patriots. What are we feeling? Let's go Chargers
not
first.
great.
Thinking decent. I always Jim Harbaugh and the drinking of the milk all the time. There's always a chance that the vibes can change on a dime.
Okay.
Consume as much dairy as he does.
And it's Justin Herbert dating Madison Beer, the singer. I feel like he's got some good personal life juju going for him. So I think that potentially keeps them right at that decent. I don't think they have Immaculate
Commercials
vibes.
have been great. The Patriots.
Immaculate.
Immaculate.
It's like, I'm a Bills fan, and I still think that they have Immaculate vibes.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's go to your team. The next matchup, the Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bills.
Not Immaculate vibes. Not great. I kind of think not great.
Do we go horrific?
The only reason it's not horrific is that Josh Allen is having a moment in his personal life. Right. And so I feel like that element of it, because you can kind of hold him up, it doesn't go all the way to horrific, but it's definitely not great.
If you ask Haley Steinfeld fans, horrific.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yes. I mean, we get to see how he deals with the pressure of being a newly married guy, starting a family. Football is important, but you got a lot going on. And you don't have Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow in this playoffs as well. So the pressure kind of...
Yeah, not having a foil sometimes can also be
They're
interesting.
fragile vibes in Buffalo.
Yes.
They're fragile vibes. I would say it's not great, but we are teetering on the edge of horrific based on
fragile. I like fragile.
Let's slot that in.
It's like walking on
It's
eggshells
between not great and horrific is fragile.
Fragile.
Yes.
And who among us?
You added to the mix.
Who among us?
Look at you.
like
Okay,
that.
so where do the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Decent.
I'm always going to go...
Immaculate?
I'm going Immaculate with the Jaguars.
Okay, why?
Whoa.
Two different reasons. Did you see Trevor Lawrence wearing the grill in the locker room?
I did.
Okay, so the fact that I believe his teammates secretly measured him for the grill and got that for him.
Which I have a
questionable,
lot of...
to be honest.
Well, how do you... Right.
You're like, is that a HIPAA violation? I don't know.
If it was only the grill, I could imagine landing it decent. But there was a video that was circulating over the last couple of weeks of a woman at a bar squatting Trevor Lawrence and catching it on film.
Yeah.
If your $50 million quarterback is getting squatted by a stranger in a bar, you have Immaculate
Okay.
vibes.
Okay.
That's true. That is confidence.
On the other end of that, though, you live in Jacksonville where that is always on the board. To be honest with you, powerful ladies in Jacksonville. And so I'm going not great simply because of the location of the team. I got
Just geography.
Yeah.
Simply
How
the
good
zip
vibes
code.
of Jackson.
That's real.
Yeah.
Your zip code does impact vibes.
Yeah, let me know when
It
Cincinnati
does.
wins the Super
See, you
Bowl,
get
right?
it.
True.
You
Let's
get it.
You get it.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to live there.
All right, well, let's keep it going. The Houston Texans going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Come on.
Texans.
Come on.
This is, I'm going to be honest, this feels like a little bit of a blind spot.
I will say decent. The season felt over 5 weeks into the year, and now they feel pretty dangerous. And so
Yeah.
I don't think it can be any worse than decent if that's what the trajectory of your season
agree.
is.
Yeah, that's fair.
They
Okay.
got a bald guy leading them in D'Amico Ryans.
So it's immaculate for you.
A1 for me, right?
Okay, all right. And the Steelers?
Oh, horrific for me.
Horrific. I don't think horrific. I
No?
think not great.
Yeah.
I think not great.
I'm
Aaron
sitting with
Rodgers-
not great as well.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, there's the reporting that came out. They said it during the game that he has a lot of camaraderie with the team. So
He's telling people he loves Mike Tomlin anytime he'll get a chance to. He's like hugging him on cameras,
Right.
walking off the field. Like that's very performative. I don't. How much?
That's
or he's faking it
That
till he's
makes me
making it, and then it's
uncomfy.
just locking into his enigma brain, and so then he believes it.
I feel like we can't get all the way to horrific.
I think
crazy.
That's rough.
Yeah, I think
It's not great with a tinge of fragile.
Maybe fragile.
Oh, fragile.
Fragile.
Ooh.
Okay, maybe
Fragile.
fragile.
You know what? I'll go with fragile on that
Yeah.
one. All right, let's kick it over to the NFC. Okay,
Hell
first
yeah.
up, team with the bye, Seattle Seahawks.
Immaculate.
Immaculate vibes.
Immaculate vibes.
Okay, I think we're pretty clear across the board.
Yeah,
I don't trust their quarterback, but that's not the vibe.
No, the vibes are immaculate. The resurgence that they have experienced this year because of the vibes of the team. This is the clearest cut one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Green Bay Packers.
Fragile.
It's fragile.
Fragile. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a shitty color scheme.
It's not good. Doesn't look good on anything.
yeah, like
I'm saying Bears. Immaculate.
I might go decent just
think decent.
because it's the Bears.
That's exactly
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
But it only means it can only
What
get
do you
better.
think? Of
Yeah, that actually is kind of
Okay.
a safer place to be than at Immaculate Vibes because the expectations are so high, they're almost unrealistic.
So,
Okay,
so,
okay.
so I am going to go immaculate because there aren't many times as a Bears fan I could feel this.
Feel like.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
You know?
We'll see if you want it on record.
For the first time in my life as a Bears fan, they've gotten the two most important positions correct. And head coach and quarterback. He's got his nails done all the time, so
Right.
he's always on
Yes.
top of his, grooming. And they got a wide receiver named Luther.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rome.
And if you've grown up in any black household, you know how important the name Luther is.
That
Okay?
right.
Shout out to Mr. Vandross.
I can't let myself believe that this is the peak. I want
No,
more
it's
than
not the
this
peak.
eventually, and that's why I'm not willing to go to
No, it's not the
Immaculate.
peak.
I don't want to think that this is
Also,
the best thing that's ever going to happen.
Madeline, I didn't know this.
His mom,
Caleb Williams.
yeah, I think his mom was a nail tech, right?
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
his
yeah.
nails done.
But you love. That's
And-
also good vibes. Good family vibes.
It's
These
got-
are the
it's
stories
got a-
I pay attention to when I watch
It's got a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of a bunch of dudes in this city finally letting go of things that they have held on to in terms of what masculinity feels
All right.
like. And
Okay.
just like,
All right.
I'm going-
I
I'm
struggle
going-
to get there,
I'm
but you
going
guys are
Immaculate.
fine.
Okay,
Let's do it.
49ers at the Eagles. What do we think? What are the vibes?
49ers, decent.
Decent. I think
Decent.
decent.
I think
decent.
Even with all the injuries.
Yes.
Still
Yeah, I
decent.
think
Why it's decent. 'Cause They've overcome all of
Yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. I like that.
Eagles.
We could go horrific finally.
horrific.
For me, it's
They're
the
horrific. I think
satisfaction.
it's like when you have a really messy room and you still can find the one thing you need in it. You're like, this might be chaos everywhere, but I'm still going to find the thing I need and get out of
2
it.
weeks ago, the Eagles didn't complete a pass in the second half against the Bills. The vibes are horrific. It's
See,
horrific.
I can't bring myself to ever say anything is like horrific when Jalen Hurts is involved.
Well,
and
okay,
his
that's
wife is involved.
Yes.
They are immaculate. Jalen Hurts and Bree Burrows together.
Immaculate, right? Well, I got to ask you of people in my neck of the woods in North Carolina. Panthers are in the playoffs and they are hosting the Rams. What do we think of the vibes? Let's close it out.
Panthers, confusing.
Suspect.
Well,
Can we add that?
Kind of all over the place?
Panthers, what?
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Why?
Like the just
Why? Just why? Question
why
mark?
vibes.
Panthers,
Yeah.
why? New category.
The most bewildering NFL team in
Yes.
recent memory. They, in any given moment, you have no idea what they are. So I think even at 8-9 and confusing, if you're a Panthers team making the playoffs, you're at least at decent. You can't
Great.
be worse than.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And I think
That's
I'd put
fine.
the Rams in a similar spot.
Yeah, sure.
They were immaculate earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's fallen off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm sitting with decent. with the
Decent.
Rams.
Decent.
Great.
Okay.
I'm a particular fan of the Rams' social media presence, and so I think it's always going to be a little decent for me. Let's percolate on this based on vibes only. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Patriots.
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 I'm saying it. You know what?
I'm saying it too, again, as a Bills fan, Patriots, and I've been saying it since the beginning of the season.
I know I'm a Patriots fan. I think the reason that they're going to win is because expectations were so low. to start the year. And then they've gone on this run. I know their schedule. Still think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I completely understand where they're coming from. Purely on a vibes-based level, I think I'm the only one who truly understands how good the vibes are in Jacksonville right now. And so I think that the Jags, purely on a vibes-based level, can give the Patriots a run for their money.
Whoa.
I really
Okay.
do.
Okay. All right.
Well,
For
you know,
vibes only, it'd be Houston for me.
we'll see how we do. I can't wait to see. Viva la vibes, okay?
Viva la vibe.
Viva la vibes.
You may notice that things look a little different today for our trivia segment we like to call LFG. Learning feels good for the uninitiated over here. I get to hold the paddles and sit in the hot seat with my co-hosts while Madeline and Charlotte test our knowledge of NFL off-the-field gossip. Okay? What you got?
All right. The number is 5.
Is it A, the number of shirtless selfies Tom Brady has posted on Instagram since his divorce?
Is it
That's
B,
right.
the number of hours we talked to Jordon Hudson on the phone?
Is it C, the number of children Matthew Stafford has?
Or is it D, the number of episodes on Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen's short-lived podcast?
Okay, so I know it's not C because I just saw an adorable clip of Matthew Stafford with his 4 daughters.
I also knew it was 4 daughters, so we're good on that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's D. I think they had a little bit more than that. I think.
And
it's D.
I think Tom Brady has been getting his shit off. I don't know if it's A. I think since he's been divorced, he's been letting it fly.
Yeah.
So
I think it's B.
I think it's B too.
I think it's B.
I think it's D. Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen episodes of their critically acclaimed podcast.
Called separation anxiety, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
I think so.
Well, the correct answer, B.
B.
Hours we talked to Jordon Hudson.
See? You're not built for this.
Did you get billed for those?
That was a weird week.
It was very definitely a top 5 strange week of my life.
Here's what we'll say.
Yep.
We will be on the NFL honors red carpet doing some interviews. Madeline brought this up the other. She was like,
I said, wait, Jordan's been to NFL honors before with Bill. There's a
We've seen the
highly
photos.
likelihood that she will be there again.
Ooh.
and so
That might be the first time we see her outside of the pageant.
I smell a
Since
viral
this all
moment.
happened. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
A viral moment.
Fingers
happens.
crossed.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Okay.
thank you guys.
Of course. That's it from us.
Appreciate you.
Madeline, Charlotte, thank you for coming to hang out with us. This was awesome. Spilling all the sports
A little tea,
gossip
right?
Tea,
Is
right?
this what the
Just a
kids doing?
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think
there
sure.
you go.
Maybe.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of The Athletic Show every Saturday on Amazon Fire TV. And make sure you check out the newsroom at theathletic.com because we got all the facts and the sports gossip. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.